So that's what kind of, I think, my advice. Just value what you do and try to figure it out how to price it. That people will see the value. Yes, it kind of comes with the challenge how to sell it. Yes, but you can offer like what we do in Minch, preacher man. That's okay. Yes, like you can try something for like 10 days, a month, whatever. But it's not presenting that something that doesn't have any value.
Before you dive into today's episode, we have a quick favor to ask. If you enjoy what we do here at NOUVA, please take a second of your time to hit the follow or subscribe button in the app you're listening. It might seem like a small thing, but it was keep us bringing you amazing guests and quality content every month. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Now, let's get started.
Welcome, everybody. And as we used to say, we often talk about the digital age as if it happened all at once, right? But it was built by brick, of course. So long before our current AI boom, pioneers were figuring out how to make a screen feel as alive as a TV set. Welcome to NOUVA Podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie. Today, we are joined by Nikolai, who has spent 35 years at the intersection of code and creativity. From 1999 of web commercial to his new venture, Mench AI, Nikolai is still asking the same question. How do we make technology actually serve the human on the other side? So, Nikolai, it's a pleasure to have you. And how does it feel, right, to look back at 1999 and see how far we have come?
Well, thank you, Stephanie, for having me. Yeah, I would look kind of way back to maybe 70s, I would say 1970s, where I remember myself, yes, from that time. And then so I was born in the Soviet Union. Yes, it was not Russia like people know today. It was a completely different country that does not exist anymore, interestingly. Even I served in the military, you had draft, so you have conscript process, so you have to serve 2 years in military. So I served 2 years in military and actually was at war in Afghanistan back then. For the reason today, I know, yes, very strange story. Yes, but I was young, and it was kind of, whatever. But I was born in my age is, I think, is very interesting that we were born, my generation, where the first TV set I saw in my life when I was, I think, maybe 5 years old, but the first color TV set I seen when I was 15, maybe 14. So just to give you an idea, the perspective. My background, I actually production designer for films and theater. So I was I liked creative thing. I like painting, designing, all this stuff. So I wanted to work for animation studio, which I actually finally achieved my goal. At some point, I worked for Soviet Union. Back then, it was not Russia. Animation studio, analogy of Disney. And I was making a stop-action animation. So my brain, my kind of persona, I would say, kind of divided. I have interest in technology. So I like in stop-action animation, I like because I like to make them, like these little puppets and move them around and design and kind of engineering them. But as a creative person, I just like the creative aspect of it, of course, to make them and make characters and stories. And that's what I did until what is interesting, kind of what people know as perestroika. So at some point, the government decided, okay, it doesn't go anywhere, the system. We need to change it. Yes. There was no any revolution or anything. They just decided themselves. Yeah, so, and the first thing they did, they basically fired everyone. because they say like because we were all working for government companies. Everything was government run. And we had no idea how to do your own business or whatever else you can do. So it was very interesting time when everyone kind of lost. And it's interesting. So I was sort of I was young, but I had actually director of the studio, which was, we had very good relationship, became friends. But he also lost. So I saw, so the guy, like 55 years old, lost his job. And I cannot complain. I just need to figure it out. And I was trying to figure out, okay, so what I can do. For 6 months, I didn't, there was no even concept to find a job, because kind of if everyone is fine, everything is sort of kind of in this disarray. It's not like closed, but it's just kind of chaos.
Right.
So you kind of have naturally to figure it out. And that's what I guess I was enforced.
Because you are tech and artist. So you have both combinations. It's really interesting because you have both backgrounds. And that combination, how did you help to be who you are today, being a technical but also an artist? Because you are also in an era where, of course, you were in 1987. Everybody knows about the USSR and what all the political stuff and economical things that were in that time, as well of many the collapse of the superpower, also the birth of a new economy, despite of all those geopolitical things and economic imbalances that you have suffered as well as a family, I perhaps, and being moved from Russia to the United States, to this side of the world, to the Americas, which we are very different. I mean, with that, those backgrounds, how did you build up yourself from that? From all other people who has passed the same thing as you?
No, this is a good question. I think it's a very good question, not for myself as personal. I actually was always following the stream of events. It's basically, some people like build themselves, like Steve Jobs, yes, or like Bill Gates, or at least we like think that way, yes, about them. I didn't. I was just like, okay, so the Soviet Union collapsed. I mean, okay, what I know, it's like I have to leave, yes. So the same happened with my move actually to America. What happened? I was making this animation, stop action animation movies for little kids. I just like that kind of area, and what happened back then? So what happened after Soviet Union? It's very interesting. So the new regime kind of helped to evolve a very interesting combination of corrupted government officials and mafia. And when you know this famous, all these movies about mafia, we didn't have that. In Soviet Union, we didn't experience it. It's kind of a new thing, okay? So while I was doing this animation, I had advertising agency back in Russia. Well, that's how I lived on making ads, yes, because advertising is kind of interesting. And that's what EdTech, yes, was born. It's kind of creative, but also it's technology. So and that's what I guess I was successful in that, because I could figure it out. For example, if I need to build a billboard, yes, I could figure it out how to engineer it, but also it's an app, yes, so things like so. I try myself in different areas, like in print and TV and everything. And I won numerous international awards as a creative person. That's how actually I got the green card in the United States for my contribution in the field as a creative person. It was before the internet. So, but then the internet. So, but I was here making this movies, and mafia attacked my business back in Soviet, Russia already, and I just didn't have stomach, to deal with all that and think, and I was respected here, so I will just stay. So it's kind of a stream of events. It's not like, just let's move to America. It wasn't like I was making post-production, like in Hollywood. We shoot in Russia, but post-production technology side was better here, so we did it. So that's what the story. So I stayed. And then internet kind of, but also I stayed, but I have to make some money, yes, for living. I just got married with my new wife, and she didn't expect that. She thought that she will come with me for a couple of months to finish this movie animation and, creative side of it she liked. So we tried to figure out what to do. And the internet advertising kind of emerged. but nobody really knew kind of, okay, so it's interesting. So back then it was banner. Yes, people knew it as a banner. The first banner was commissioned like in 1995, not kind of famous in textbooks, by AT&T. They made the banners. Okay, they kind of paid. It was the first paid campaign when they said, okay, we'll pay for that strange thing, which is kind of an ad. Who knows who will see it and how it will be distributed. There was no any technology to distribute it, so it kind of, you just literally call someone. So can you include this banner to your website? I will pay you, $20, things like that. So, but I tried because I knew, how to make this, to use Photoshop as a technology and creative person. So I started making these first banners, and the challenge back then was creative and technological, because the problem was that was a limit, because back then, you remember, we had this model, so beep, 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 and then it's connected, and it had 24 kilobytes, and then it became 50 kilobytes per second. So it allows to distribute banner that has to be, I don't remember exactly, like 11 kilobyte size, something like that. And even with that, it took you really have to want to watch this banner, because it took 2 minutes to render. But people liked it. So that's so now I kind of in this area again where I'm creative, trying to make these banners, but also it has to be 11 kilobytes. And when I open a file in Photoshop, and I created a blank file, we just make of the size, and say, okay, so let's see how big it is. So I saved it absolutely blank, and it was 7 kilobytes. And okay. So I have only 4 kilobytes for creativity, because just it's blank already like this. So I have to come up with something very, very basic, but it still has to be attractive. Yes, it's advertising. So that's how my challenge was. You have to be creative, but also technologically efficient. But most important,
I have just one question. I'm sorry, but
No.
I mean, you have so much knowledge, and I really liked it, because I really enjoy being with old people, because it really nurtures me as a person. I loved it so much. So, Nikolai, you are the CTO of Rich Media Worldwide, and you worked for almost 8 years there. So, what did you learn from that job that you found then your two businesses today? What make Liquid, which is in one business, and then the other one is Mention AI. What did you learn from that, and what did you push you to build your own business?
So they invited me. They reached me the worldwide kind of board. They invited me. They learned me. This actually was very interesting. Also, twist in that. So the company was run by people who were originally producers and promoters of David Copperfield, maybe this famous magician. So it's kind of also creative and technology world, yes, in some sense. Yes, a very interesting team. And they decided back then, it was very popular, this internet, yes. They decided to start a new company, which they call Rich Media Worldwide, which was kind of internet technology company, but the idea was very, I would say, mix of things. It's they were trying to build email marketing tools, and also some advertising, but also some maybe classifieds or Craigslist type of things. So there were all sorts of ideas, they were trying to. But the idea was, of course, it was rich media, to make it very, very rich in media, it's kind of, because if you look at Craigslist, it's very basic. Yes, it's just little text, and everything was pretty basic, email. Yes, was just text. Yes, they were trying to make really rich and cool, and great idea. It was all based on Flash technology, essentially. But back then, there was technology that allows to make all sorts of animation, videos, and send them actually inside the email. So back then, that was interesting. Right now, they're not allowed because it was so abused. Right? Many bad players want so many different ways. But back then, it was this freedom of creativity. You could make something really, really cool right inside the email button, and send the whole long video inside the email. Yeah, so that was interesting experience, but that's again so we did with my generation. We couldn't finish college to learn coding, yes, programming, because there was no I Bill Gates. He was about 10 years older than me, so I couldn't possibly I started using these computers that he built and Steve Jobs built but we were not really that, like knowledgeable in that thing. So I kind of self-taught, but it's not like I was sitting and reading textbook. I just was living through this thing and okay, so I need to learn this and that little bit, here and there. And that's kind of somehow, because when they were born, these technologies, they were not that complex and sophisticated like today. Today, you really have to go to college and, read these textbooks and, study and thing. We didn't have to because we just took it by bites, yes? So I learned kind of how to program computer when it was MS-DOS, yes? It was just like 3 words, like how, smart you have to be to remember like 50 words. And that's how we kind of, my generation, I guess, evolved. So we kind of knew it just by living with that, yes? I don't even remember any specific thing. When it was time when I had to go to a library and read something specific about like SQL Server, for example. But at that time, I already knew pretty much, what's going on. So what's happening? We kind of learn, yes, these new technologies and build new things simultaneously. Like to give you an idea, there's just a compare. Like for example, when I start advertising agency. Problem in Russia, I had to buy a print shop, like the little print shop to print business cards, for example, to give. So I had to borrow money to print because there was in Soviet Union there was no concept of business cards, so there was no any mechanism technically to implement it. But once everyone started doing business because they didn't have a choice, then everyone needed all of a sudden business cards, but there is no mechanism. So I kind of lived through all my life through that thing. So if I need, when internet started on these banners, okay, so great, I have a banner. So how I will distribute it, how I will report on this, yes, how I will bill based on what? What's the currency? Like how many people view this ad? How Like so, what happened? Little by little, I realized that I'm building little by little the entire ecosystem. Just literally, like just the whole thing. Because when we started, like the only way to put the banner on someone's website, yes, is just to reach out and say, put it somehow. But if they do, how do you know they didn't put it below the folds or like on a page that nobody see? How do you know that? Yes. There was concept of banner exchange back then, actually, which melted down because of that. It's like I put your banner on the top, yes, on the front page, and you put my banner somewhere on a page that nobody is going to. Okay, so what's the exchange? Mm-hmm. So to make it fair, you need some sort of a technology to say, okay, someone see my banner on your page, so now I can show yours on my page, for example, yes? So mm-hmm. I built that things little by little just because once we realized the need, yes, okay, so now we need, let's say, bigger clients. Finally, we got a bigger client, let's say a hotel, like we had a Hyatt hotel or like Marriott client, and they say, okay, so this is all great, so we need a report. So where is the report? Like there is no any mechanism to make a report how many people viewed my ad and how many times. So if you don't know that, how we can price it?
Right.
If you cannot price it, how you can pay publishers to do? So it's kind of like create a chain of things that takes years to figure it out, like literally, because it's not something, oh, I have an idea. It's just kind of you realize the need and then you deal with it and realize the need. So it's kind of ongoing process of evolution where it's very difficult to make money at that time. Very difficult because you kind of basically fighting with fires and problems and things. And it's not like something.
Yeah, and that takes me to what you're talking about, the challenges of being an entrepreneur in another country. Can you give us at least 3 challenges and 3 opportunities, because of course there are opportunities being in another country, that you can explain to us once, because you are the owner of these 2 companies. Can you give us those 3 challenges and 3 opportunities for the people who are in another country trying to build their own businesses as well as you are?
Yeah. I would say just feel free and don't afraid. Like it's scary and it's dangerous. But the reality is, I was like my story, like this, which made a worldwide company, this the story was actually sad story at the end because no, I really built well, I think, and it was actually pretty decent. They still exist, just under a different name. But at some point, they decided that they so great they don't need me anymore, and they fired me. But the challenge was for them, you could not fire like. It's almost like, like there was a famous basketball team in Chicago Bulls. They had Michael Jordan, yes, the famous, player. Like imagine Chicago Bulls firing Michael Jordan. It's just very difficult to explain. It doesn't make any sense, okay? So this thing, the whole company was built from scratch, basically, by me. No, like technology, I was CTO, but I kind of ran, basically, the whole thing. And, but they decided that's, like because I had also some shares, it's just a complex situation. So they fired and they start suing me, not because I did something wrong, but just to rid of me, basically. And that was the best thing happened in my life because until then, and I just realized that I maybe was a slave. I was paid slave. Yes, it was not like. I never made a lot of money, like from. It was not like a job like in Microsoft or Google. It still was kind of startup situation. Yes, so the rules were still kind of more entrepreneurial, but because of that, I had some shares. Yes, so that might motivate. That's what kind of the deal was. So that was fair. But also the setup was in such a way that I just realized based on how they acted, that I kind of little bit of a slave because, like how much of my personal creativity, yes, I can contribute to like invention, like it's not really mine, and it's not really what kind of I would do if I would just do it myself, just without all this 6 hours discussion in the room with people who don't really understand anything. It's just trying to collaborate. But that's what again, like a stream of events. I didn't leave them; they fired me. But that's how it started. So I had a buddy and I started another company called Liquid in 2010, just because, okay, so what else I should do? Look, I could theoretically find a job at that time because I was kind of a legend. I invented what is called today viewable impression. It's a metrics that is used today by the industry, the entire industry as a currency. And how it works, and that's what I explained, is basically I determined that when the ad shows on the screen, you can actually determine that and measure at that time. And there's a bunch of metrics associated with that, parameters associated that you can save. And then it's becoming very, very valuable because you can actually say specifically like how many different people. It's not a privacy breach or anything. It doesn't know that you're Stephanie, but it knows like how many different people, it actually can determine demographic based on the content where it shows, and many others. So at that time I was member of IEB research committee. I was kind of like involved in the industry thing. But I chose my interpreter because I had an idea that kind of today, I would say without that idea today would not possible what I'm making today with AI. Because my idea was instead of using website as I would call it pull and fetch. How advertising works. The most product people know is a Google Ad Manager. Yes. So what it is, publishers programming their websites and they put like where the ads should show, and then they have an agent they put in the header, and it goes grabs these ads and puts them in whatever publisher defines this looks like. And so this is great, but what it does also. It makes it so the quality of inventory will depend on the quality of knowledge or whatever expertise of each individual tech guy who does that for each individual publishers. And because of these millions of them, like how you can control it, it's just impossible, yes? And what's happening because of that, the average quality of that inventory is very, very poor. People don't know that, but if you measure it by technical parameters and audience and so other parameters, and what it does, the reality of it, why it's a proof, it's not my opinion, it's a material fact, because the pricing on internet advertising many people don't know. It's dropped from about $20 per thousand, what people know is impression, $20 per thousand impression in 2010 to 60 cents today. So you can see, so it's not a question of opinion. It's just, 20x drop in pricing, because it's commoditized, because it's just so poorly designed and bad. People hate it. Like when you open Web 2, you like what you see. It's just gazillions of all these banners. People's eyes trained to ignore all of that thing. So it's kind of the most valuable aspect of advertising. It's attractive. Yes, oh my God, it's gone. It's basically washed out. So my idea was how to bring it back.
You have all this trajectory that you have been building from now on. And it's very amazing how you came from Russia to the other side of the world up to here, and to build your own businesses, to be your owner of your own time as well, and to create value to your clients. I think that is very valuable, that you cannot measure and you cannot predict. And I really like that you have mentioned AI as we have been discussing your other business with Liquid, where you have these AI agents and you have been building it. And also, NVIDIA is an Inception program that I can see there. You're a member of NVIDIA. So you have been building this model from a long time, and it's amazing. And more than the obstacle is key. And it's fascinating how to bridge, right, the early web, as you have been told us at the beginning of the podcast, to the intelligent future of today that we are now living. And your children, also your grandchildren, they will be in another era. And so that will be...
That will be this AI. That's what my kind of... The point of my ad, of the thing that I came up with this ad, which AI came along, the ad that can talk back and perform tasks. And that's what kind of Mensch is, that the idea was all the story starting from business card that I told you, in middle 80s. And now, because all the ecosystem that I built allows for that, because it's a broadcasting principle. That's why, you cannot make publishers to make these things themselves. Yes, just nonsense. This kind of came to the thing, then you need a solution that everyone can use, yes, without being invest in, development of something like it used to be, yes, or programming, or just use it. But then you see, when ads can talk back to you, then it's becoming a completely new category of advertising, because now it's across media. They not only live on the website, they live everywhere. You can scan QR code on the billboard, or TV commercial, or print, everywhere, and it goes directly to your AI body, which is this talking back ad, and it can do many things. Yes, it's kind of assistant, can answer any of your queries, smart, yes, and can speak on any language. Yes, it can speak on Spanish, Portuguese, anything, so it's kind of. Basically, I'm happy that I live kind of in this thing from when it starts, when we didn't have a pager. Yes, I learned what pager when I was 30 years old. Yeah. And now they all grant these pagers. But now we have these AI ads that just make it completely different world, where people can not just interact, click, but they can engage in the conversation with the brand or advertiser or business, yes, directly. So that's cool.
That's amazing. Well, before I let you go, I really want to ask you one last question.
Sure.
What is the best advice you've ever received?
Best what? I'm sorry, best what?
Advice.
Advice. Oh, this is interesting. I received a few really good advices in my life. But I would say one I actually give myself. Never sell, never offer basically any of your product or services or your creative or whatever technology for free. Because people have this idea of on spec. I make something, I will give you to try. You try, and if you like it, you will pay. and I can tell you, all my life, like 40 plus years of reason, no, like working experience, it never worked. Like it's zero time, like not even once. So I say, okay, if something doesn't work, once for me, why I should advise you, don't do it. Like it doesn't work. This idea is wrong. Yeah, make it, whatever you make, you can price it modestly. Yes, you don't have to like go after, it's just such a great thing. But like if people see something that they think is free, they don't see any value, I guess. I don't know, you can discuss many, aspects of that concept, but that's what my advice, especially for advertising creative people, they do it commonly. They say, okay, I will make this ad and I will offer to Coca-Cola for free, and that Coca-Cola will make me rich. Coca-Cola, the tsunami of these things, yes, that's free stuff, that's fine. So that's what kind of, I think, my advice. Just value what you do and try to figure it out how to price it. That people will see the value. Yes, it kind of comes with the challenge how to sell it. Yes, but you can offer like what we do in Minch, free treatment. That's okay. Yes, like you can try something for like 10 days, a month, whatever. But it's not presenting that something that doesn't have any value. So that's what kind of my advice.
Oh, thank you so much, Nikolai. I really appreciate it. And thank you for your energy. Your energy is really contagious. Your vision. And I don't know how to pronounce your last name,
Mentchoukov.
Mentchoukov. Thank you for having us today and for having you in our podcast. And I hope it will be the last time to see us. And well, I'm your host, Stephanie, and this has been NOUVA Podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you very
much. We close this chapter, but now there's a next step to do, applying it to your life. Knowledge that isn't used is just noise. Don't live here with a notebook full of ideas. Live here with a plan to change one thing in your routine tomorrow. Ask yourself, from everything we discussed here today, what idea resonated with me enough to put into practice? Don't wait for the future. Create it today. This is NOUVA Podcast. See you in the next episode.